Hey guys, and welcome to the vlog, a Christmas special. Well, it's that time of year again, and it's time to have our vlog for the end of the year and go through all of the fun things that have happened in the hobby over this year on the channel and the hobby generally, and obviously my own brand, Blight of Gods, we'll be touching on that too. And while we do that, we're going to be painting up this Custodes Terminator here in my custom scheme. You will have seen this before, but I'm going to go through and paint up this one and a couple of others. You'll see them at the end, some nice pretty pictures. But we're going to go through it all and discuss what's been happening, because it's been an exciting year. A lot's gone on, a lot of new releases. We've had 10th edition 40k, etc. I think that was this year, wasn't it? I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting old, so my brain's failing. But you know, we've had a lot of releases, and you know, Flesh Eater Courts have just come out, and a bunch of other things too. And as I said, for my own brand, Blight of Gods, we're going to be talking about that too. I've got a lot of exciting new minis coming for that one into next year, and yeah, it's going to be a really fun time. So while we do that, I'll have my little informal chat at the end. We'll be talking about some strategies for ignoring the meta when it's not to your liking and you want to still game, and that sort of thing. You might be feeling the malaise of the game a little bit, but you still want to keep your toe in the water. Then you know, some different ways you can go about that, and just discussing some of those strategies and how I felt over the year for AOS specifically. But generally speaking, anyway, we can have a bit of a discussion on it, and yeah, just go through all the channel news and all of that. There's a lot to go through, so I guess we should get started, eh? So what a year it's been. We've had, you know, a lot of videos made for the channel. I've been, you know, painting vigorously away. And, you know, we've had many different videos, you know, lots of blends, lots of recipes I've come up with, a lot of those sorts of videos, you know, various flesh tones, underpainting and overpainting techniques. I mean, the full gambit of, you know, interesting little ways to do custom schemes and so on. A lot of, you might say, off-meta picks on painting in the hobby, you know, but then there's been a couple of lore-friendly things there as well. I've tried to do that, but mostly it's all been custom scheme stuff with a lot of recipes. And I hope you all enjoyed those videos. I've enjoyed making them over the year, and if I'm really good, I'll be putting up the images here so you can see some of that as we go through it. Some of my picks anyway of the year. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool videos, and I've been really enjoying doing it this year. It's been great. You know, alongside that, obviously in the background, I've been doing the Blight of God stuff, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But for now, we're just looking at the year and what I've done. And yeah, a lot of it's been those sorts of videos, you know, different flesh tones, different ways to attack that, both from I guess maybe just a pure painting point of view, but then also with the mind for army painting and so on. So I've tried to keep it pretty good amongst all of that. We've covered MCP. I tried very hard to cover a lot of the sub games from the different producers, mostly GW, but also Atomic Mass Games, Infinity. We've gone through a range of different videos on different game systems, try to cover it all. Not quite through it all yet, but we're getting there. You know, it's been a really good year for that, and you know, the channel itself has really grown. You know, my little subscriber count is growing all the time. You know, you guys seem to be really enjoying it. I get a lot of lovely comments, so thank you very much for all of those, and that's been really lovely. You know, just seeing the channel grow with everyone, and you know, every now and again I get sent a pic or something like that of what someone has done with my recipes or a video. Or just message me or something like that. So that's been really nice too. And yeah, so I just wanted to say, to start off with, before we get into all of this, thank you all so much for supporting and following and all of those things, liking, commenting, and supporting the channel in the ways that you do. It's been very, very lovely to see that and to you know, be in that conversation with you. It's wonderful, and so thank you all very much. I hope my channel has been helping out and, you know, and giving people some good hobby, I guess, knowledge or whatever to get you through when you're painting or gaming or whatever you're doing. And yeah, I'm really grateful for the experience. It's been wonderful, and you know, as I said, the channel's growing. You know, into next year we've got a lot of exciting new videos which we'll be covering shortly, but you know, it's really been a positive experience for me, and I'm hoping it's been a positive experience for people watching. I haven't waffled on too much. I haven't you know, just you know, talked your ear off too much. I've got to the point, hopefully, over the course of my videos. I do tend tend to have a bit of a gift of the gab, so I'll be, just continually talking constantly if people let me. So, but I hope I've been concise enough and everyone's got something out of it. So, with that out of the way, I'll be definitely thanking you again before the end. But, I just wanted to say thank you and wish you all a really wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year, wherever you are in the world, or whatever you celebrate, or any of those things, just to have a wonderful, maybe it's your summer or winter, depending on where you are, and that you have a really lovely time. I really do wish that for everyone, to have a really wonderful time this Christmas, or as I said, whichever holiday you celebrate. So with that out of the way, hopefully I've shown you some lovely pics of some of the minis that we've been doing. Now I think we'll move on to the channel news and just see what's in store, what do we got for next year, and the sorts of videos that hopefully will be coming. So what's in store for the future? Well, we've got a range of systems I want to cover. It's pretty adventurous this year. We're going to try to do a lot. As most of you may have become aware, I tend to release on a fortnightly schedule most of the time. So that's roughly, what is that, like, I don't know, I guess 2 videos a month roughly. So we got about 24 videos a year, something like that, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, depending. But I try to release more than that generally. There's usually a couple of bonus ones in there. So, and within that, I've got to try to fit all these different game systems in. And as we talk in a little minute, we'll be talking about my own brand, Blight of Gods. But for the minute, we'll talk about the other systems. And so I really want to cover them. I want to continue covering some of the topics we've been doing this year and move them into next year. So things like the sub game systems and things like that, smaller games that you could be playing, that sort of thing, and doing some paint videos on those different schemes, etc. So I still want to get onto that. So things like Necromunda, I haven't covered that yet, and a few others. So if I can, I'll try to squeeze those in. But out of the main game systems, we have Shatterpoint, and you're definitely going to get a few Shatterpoint videos this year. I don't know how many. As I said, I've only got like 24 or so videos to get through, but we're going to try to fit all these in. So at least 1 or 2 videos on Shatterpoint. I definitely want to do an impressions video once I've played a couple of games, and a few paint scheme ones as well, so we can get some good little recipes down for that one. And again, going on my custom scheme journey like I did with MCP, but this time it might be a different color palette or slightly different. I've got a few ideas there, so we'll see what happens, but you'll definitely be getting a few of those. Then we've got things like, so we'll just talk about MCP2. I'll probably try to squeeze 1 or 2 more of those in as well if I can. So we'll see what happens. But then we've got, now we'll move back to the big boy in the room, GW, and we've got 40K. So obviously I would like to do some, I generally do a couple in the year. We've got our Custodes there as you're watching me paint in front of you, and I'm going to continue to grow that army and build it out. And many have asked for things like, how does this scheme look on larger models, so the vehicles, that sort of thing. And I definitely have in mind to do at least the dreadnoughts and the jet bikes, but there might be one of the larger ones depending on my funds, whether I can afford that. But one of those bigger tanks, etc., the grav tanks that they've got. We'll see which ones I do, but I definitely do have that in mind to try to do some of that for next year, and do a collection video like I've done in the past on one of the vlogs, where we look at the whole collection as an army and see how I've gone, see if I can get it to 2,000 points or at least 1,500, something like that. That'd be really lovely. So that's the sort of thing. But there are, and then obviously sprinkled over the year, at least 1 or 2 will be doing some sort of new release or other miniatures in the 40k range that I feel like painting. It's maybe one-off ones, that sort of thing. We'll see what happens with 40k, but my eyes are to some fantasy things this year and a few other systems. So I don't know how much 40k will do, but we'll definitely do some for sure. I always put that in there. Then we've got Age of Sigmar. Now for Age of Sigmar, we've got a big year coming up. We've got 4th edition. And 4th edition is going to mean, a lot of new minis, etc. So, and an army that I love and enjoy, which is Stormcast, and obviously my custom scheme. So you will be getting videos on that, and whichever faction is versing them in the starter box, which will probably be Skaven. That's the rumor, but it may not be. Who knows? But I'll be definitely covering a lot of AOS coming into the second half of next year, most likely. I always have that on the channel, so that'll continue. And I have a few other ideas on that as well for some other factions and color schemes that I wouldn't mind trying. So we'll see how many of those I manage to get done, but I would really love to do a few. So that is a big deal for next year, so that should be really cool. And that brings us to something else, which we've got Warhammer Old World should be dropping next year as well. And I've got a few ideas for that too. I don't know how many videos I'll get done on it, but I do have one special little faction that I'd like to try, and I don't know whether I'll it depends on the rules and everything whether I'll actually do a full army of it, but I definitely want to do a few models in a particular color scheme that I've got. But I won't say too much more on that, but you will see some old world content on the channel. It's probably a game system, if it's good, that I'll be actually playing regularly, because I miss fantasy. I'm one of those old people that was from around that time, and I do miss it, and I'm glad that they're bringing it back in some form, and the articles they've released have been really good. So I am very positive towards old world and what it hopefully will give us as a community, as a hobby community, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I've got some very super secret little recipes there, which hopefully should work really well, and some videos for that one. So hopefully that works out as planned, hopefully. And then we've got Heresy as well. So I've been dabbling in some Heresy, and there might be one or two cheeky little videos in there for Heresy. I've got at least one, and hopefully maybe one more. So at least a couple there for next year, hopefully. So you'll see a little bit of Horus Heresy on the channel. And then finally, I think the last one here, we've got Infinity. So Infinity, I've got, a couple of special little videos planned to sort of round out my my little warband, or however they call it in their game. I haven't really, I've downloaded the app and I've managed to make a little list of what I have, and then some extras. So there'll be at least one more video there, a really nice one, and probably maybe one more after that. But I bought a bunch of the minis, so I'll definitely be showcasing some of that on the channel next year. I am looking forward to playing a few games of it. As I said, the guys in my club, some of them play it, so we'll definitely be having a game of it, and I'll do my thoughts on that. So there'll be at least one or two more videos, and at least one more, which I think will pair nicely with the one we've just had over the course of the year, with the wolf suit one. So it'll be nice to add this one to that, because it's a nice pairing for that one. So I'm really looking forward to showcasing that video. And then we've got that terrain video that I'm still talking about that I haven't done yet, and I'm hoping I get that done this year, because I really do want to showcase some real-time footage of using spray cans, colored spray cans, to paint your terrain really fast. And I still want to bring that out. I still want to showcase that, because it's a great way to do your terrain quickly and get a starter board done in a very short space of time. So I am looking forward to trying to fit that into the schedule. It'll eventually get there. I never anything I say I'm going to do, I do eventually do, even if it takes 2 years to get there. But we will definitely be touching on it. So that is one of those things that will be happening hopefully this year. So that's pretty much all of it. So there's a lot of systems there. I don't think I've left anything out, but there's a bit to get through. So it's going to be a real jam-packed year, and that brings us on to Blight of Gods. So by now, I should have already posted a news article on my Blight of Gods website, just forecasting the future of the brand into the coming year. And next year is going to be my 10th anniversary that Blight of Gods has been around, at least officially online. It's a bit older than that, but the website has been up for 10 years, and so I'm going to be celebrating a 10-year birthday next year, which is really lovely. And it's gone through a long journey of development. It's just been a real interesting road building that brand. Through the early days of more like a concept website, as I was designing the characters, to I released a card game for it, and then now moving into miniatures, and then eventually a miniatures game for it. So it's been a really crazy journey to sort of get to that point, and obviously COVID happened in the middle of that, and all of those things. So it's been a really interesting journey, and it is going to be celebrating 10 years. So I'm really happy for that. I'm still going, I'm still plodding along. So for anyone that's on the fence about whether they want to get into my minis or whatever, it is going to stick around, because it's it's my art, it's what I do, and I'm still going to be doing it. So as long as I'm alive to keep sculpting. So and with sculpting, I've managed to, over this year, really build up my skills, and I've now locked down at least 4 months of releases coming into next year. So very soon, in a couple of weeks, in January, you should see the first release. And what I'm hoping to do is do monthly releases for the whole year. I don't know whether I'll get monthly releases done. We'll find out in the next Christmas special whether I've done that, but I'll at least get 6 months of the year done, and I'm trying to at least aim for 10 months, and if I get to 12, I'll be really happy. But you'll be getting some regular releases, and at least these 4 months is done, and they're really, really cool. I mean, the 8-year-old child in me is really, really happy right now, I can tell you that, because I've been dreaming of this stuff for a very long time, and to see it fully realized and actually out for people to enjoy is a wonderful feeling. They're all pre-supported files, STL files for 3D printing. printing. They've got instructions with all of it. I've tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. Think more like a Underworld's miniature, where it's like a completely sculpted kind of character model, with a sculpted base, etc., that sort of thing. And I've tried to make it as minimal parts as possible, so the printing process is as fast as possible. So, getting it off the printer and stuck together is, with minimal fuss, as much as I can do, with 3D printing, obviously. So I'm really excited to be showcasing that coming into next year. So we will see some releases there, and alongside that, they all have videos. So, as I said, there's 24 videos in the year, and if I manage to do 12 months worth of releases, it'll be 12 videos, painting videos for Blight of Gods. So that crams everyone else into the other side. So there'll definitely be some bonus videos over the year. You might get more than 2 a month. It might be 3 or 4 a month. It just depends on how fast I can go, how much support there is for my brand and the minis. The first warband, the first faction that's releasing is the Cult of the Undying, which is my sort of necromancer faction, or my main faction that are necromancers. So you'll see skeletons and all that sort of thing, all the classic archetypes for undead faction, and then moving past that, if I manage to get them all done, as I alluded to in my last Christmas vlog, you might see some of the Darkspawn, so the sort of aquatic demons. You can take a look at all the concept art that's in there in the character and minion section of the website. It's got a lot of them in there, but I'm now going through and doing their heroic 32mm scale. So basically a GW scale. It fits in very well in terms of size, and I've really paid attention to trying to make them as paint friendly as possible, so they're actually enjoyable to paint. So that's looking to be a really exciting aspect to the channel and generally for myself and my brand and so on. So I'm really looking forward to that part of next year. It should be really interesting. And, there's been growing support for that. Obviously, people are going to the website. I'm really happy for that, and downloading some of the free ones there and that sort of thing. But obviously, supported files is what everyone wants. So I've managed to do that. So that's what will be coming. And hopefully the ones that are still existing on my store will eventually get supported files as well. But for now, the 32mm scale minis will all come with supported files. So that's all my Blight of Gods news out of the way. We'll talk again more on that as the year progresses, but I'm really excited to be sharing that. So the first one will be coming in early January, and you'll see the painting video for that one, and then moving forward each month. So now we'll move on to, I guess, tech and behind the scenes and what might be happening there. So, I'm pretty happy with the setup at the moment. I don't really have a lot of changes I want to make just currently. There might be some little small thematic changes or something that I might do on the videos, maybe some overlays, that sort of thing into next year, but there's not a lot there that I really want to change. I'm happy with the setup and the way I do things. So, and hopefully it's good for you guys as well. You can let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to see, but I've tried to incorporate as much of what people have said over the years as possible, and I'll continue to try to develop it. But in terms of tech and actual hardware, buying new cameras, that sort of thing, the funds are what they are, and I don't know whether I'll be able to afford to upgrade to the next kind of camera or the next sort of thing. If I can do, I will, but more likely I'm going to be investing in higher end 3D printers for doing prototyping and so on for the Blight of Gods brand. So that kind of takes precedence. So I'd love to add a bigger camera, that sort of thing, but that's going to really depend on just funds over the year. So we'll see what happens. I might do. It's definitely earmarked in to do that. But what we might see this year, I'm hoping possibly, is to start doing a bit of streaming. So let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see, either here on YouTube or on Twitch. Either way, I don't really mind. It might be both. Whatever. Just so people get a chance to actually interact and ask questions, that sort of thing. In person. So if there's anything you want to know or whatever, we can do that. And they'd be painting streams, that sort of thing. It allowed me to paint some other stuff that isn't part of a video, that's just free hobby painting, so some of my personal stuff or other minis that don't exactly fit into the schedule. So that'd be really lovely. But we'll see how we go. But I'll definitely need a second camera for that one. So you might see that kind of setup at some point. I haven't totally thought about that yet. But part of that also is that the channel now has reached its first sort of, I guess, milestone for monetization or whatever that means. The YouTube sent me the email or whatever. So the channel is growing, and it has the potential to do, what all the big channels do, I guess, in some way, shape or form into the future. So that might mean things like streams and that sort of stuff. But I'm not too worried about all that too much, and I don't really want to bombard, everyone with that kind of thing. You hear it enough sort of advertising and that sort of thing in videos. I don't really want to make these videos about that because it gets a bit overwhelming. I know for myself personally, and I'm sure for other people too. So I like to keep these things as clean as possible. possible and as hobby focused as possible. But there is that opportunity there maybe in the future. So yeah, that's the main news I think for now. Obviously we'll have more vlogs over the year, and if anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But I think that's pretty much where we're at with that. And now on to a little bit of hobby news. So, you know, there's been some lovely new Flesh Eater courts brought out for Christmas. And, you know, what a wonderful range. I mean, Usharan, or whatever his name is, the big vampire. I mean, what a wonderful sculpt. Yeah, I'll definitely put some pictures up here now for you to take a look at, because, you know, how cool is it? You know, it's such a beautifully sculpted mini. You know, it really blew me away when I saw it. I'm like, wow, they're really, you know, pulling out all the stops on that one. It's just beautiful. And that little cardinal model and the others that are in the range, I mean, they're all really lovely. It's very evocative. You know, ghouls are close to my heart. You know, if you go to Blight of Gods, you'll see plenty of ghouls there. I really like that concept, and you know, they've definitely nailed it with that Usharan model. It's very beautiful, and would be lovely to paint. And you know, you'll probably see me paint it, because you know, ghouls are something that I really love. So painting that would be a real pleasure. Yeah, Flesh Eater Courts are one of those ones that I think Age of Sigmar has done really well. You know, it's a wonderful lore. It's one of the best they've got. You know, the whole delusion, everything about it is really awesome. And so I'm glad to see them give them some attention, give them the kind of units that they need. You know, the knights, the Morbeg knights, that sort of thing. That sort of cavalry unit's really important for armies like that. And I think that's really great. So they've really fleshed it out. You know, excuse the pun. And you know, just given them what they need to actually function in a few more dimensions in the game. So that's really awesome. And so yeah, this range of minis is definitely wonderful, and I'll definitely add to the collection of videos on the channel. We've done the Yellow King, and I'll be returning to these definitely, because that was one of those armies I wanted to start with Age of Sigmar, but never really got it off the ground because it was an old book, and I didn't sort of get the vibe. I love the background, but I didn't sort of get into it from the gaming point of view. And then, you know, 3rd edition dropped and I got into Stormcast, and then the rest is history. You've seen everything else painted on the channel. So yeah, but I definitely would like to get back to some Flesh Eater Courts. It'd be lovely to paint a few more. So you'll definitely probably see that next year as well. But yeah, it's such a wonderful range. And look, we could go into a huge show on all the hobby news. There's so many different releases, but I thought we just picked the Flesh Eater Courts, as that Usharan model is definitely, you know, a model of the year for any company anywhere. You know, the sculptor, all hats off to him, or her, whoever it is that sculpted that. I don't even know, but it'd be lovely to know who it was, but because they did an absolutely amazing job. It's just a testament to you know, artistry and skill. You know what you can do when you put your mind to it, and you can produce something really beautiful, even in a large company like Games Workshop. Although they do you know, hit those home runs quite often. You know, their models generally are very good, so their studios are pretty top notch when it comes to this sort of thing. But yeah, wonderful stuff. So we'll leave it there for hobby news. I can bang on about Flesh Eater Courts all day. They're a great range. So yeah, that's awesome. And now I think we'll get onto the topic and just talk about some, you know, some strategies for, you know, when the meta is getting to you a little bit. So ignoring the meta, what do I mean? Well, you know, as you're gaming, you can get to a point sometimes in these cycles with these games where it starts to get, you know, I guess a bit much, and you kind of need to step back from it, you know, and that could be due to a number of reasons. You know, the number of releases that are happening that sort of bombard you, or it could just be, you know, you're not getting enough games in, so your interest moves on, or you're getting too many games in and you're getting a bit worn out. Maybe you go to all the tournaments and it's just been a bit enough and you want to have a bit of a break. But for whatever reason, you start to get a bit of that malaise for the game, and that can affect your love of it, right? And so, you know, that's one of those things that happens. And as I said, it can be for a number of reasons. For myself personally, it's been an interesting road this year. I had my own little personal sort of campaign with the guys at the club, and that was really lovely. And then after that finished, I sort of have taken a bit of a step back. And it's mostly due to this season currently that I'm not so in love with the sort of Magic season. It's not really my thing exactly for some of the rules and so on. It's the missions and everything are great, but some of the battle tactics and grand strats and the way some of that all goes together with some of the season's rules isn't exactly to my liking. So I've sort of stepped back from it. But you know, in the earlier part of the year, I was having a lovely time building up the little sort of Tale of Four Gamers, that sort of thing, and doing small games up into big games. That was a lot of fun, and that kind of went over 2 seasons. So the previous previous one to this one. And yeah, I enjoyed that. But something about the game currently, and now I know from a meta point of view, it's pretty good right now in terms of win rates for the different factions, but we have seen over the course of the year for Age of Sigmar, a number of quite, as you call it, cooked books, right? Like they're a bit over the top and they're to be put back in line. And they've managed to do that on them for the most part, but it has been quite a strong year for books. And so that has kind of affected, I guess, my enjoyment of wanting to play those factions or against them, right? And so, yeah, that's kind of pushed it back a little bit. And so, what are the strategies you can go to if you get into that point? How do you combat that and still keep that love of the game, but easing yourself off a bit so that you don't like totally burn out on it? Well, one of those things obviously is the hobby, the painting side, the modeling side, the creative side. And that's always been my first love. So for me, that's the most obvious place to go to. When you feeling a bit of burnout of the game, you go to the hobby side, and that sort of reinvigorates you. But you might not be as in love with the creative side. You might be more of a gamer, and so that kind of escape may not be the best choice. So if you are on that gaming side, what do? Well, one of the other strategies I've used is to sort of dabble in a couple of other skirmish games to sort of give me some different flavors, so that I'm not always stuck with the one flavor. Like if you're getting ice cream, you don't want to always have chocolate or always have vanilla. You want to have some other flavors, and that's one way that you can go about spreading that out, so that you get that love of the game and keep that going. While one game isn't quite doing it, you go to the other one. Now, obviously, this poses a problem because you need funds to do that. But even just one other game that you can do helps a lot. So over the course of this year, that's the sort of thing that I've done. I've had, dabbling in other games, MCP, etc., and just building up a little bit of repertoire there of a couple of other options. Even the club guys are doing Mordheim. Haven't had a chance to play that yet, but I'm looking forward to maybe getting a game in if they're still doing the campaign into the new year. But there's also Blood Bowl there. You've seen a few minis painted on the channel to try to do a bit of that as well. And as I alluded to, I've been dabbling in a little bit of Heresy to build up some stuff there, just to give me some other options next year. So I can have a few flavors going on. I'm very excited about Old World, etc. Just to give me something else, because I've loved my journey with Age of Sigmar. It's a great game and a great system, and the miniature range is awesome. But it does go through its ups and downs. It isn't a perfect ride, but by anyone's calculations, and that does have an effect on you. So you don't want to allow these sorts of things to sort of mar you too much, because that's not really the hobby doing that. It's more a company's choices. It's more sort of very much a cold side to this. It's not the actual creative hobby side or the gaming side. It's the decision making of a business, right? And that can affect certain aspects of your hobby. So to sort of put some blocks in there so it doesn't affect you is a really good thing to do, because those two things are separate. What a company might need to do to run as a business is one thing, but then you've got your hobby too, which is separate from that, and you don't want to really allow a company or someone else really dictate how you enjoy your time, right? Your time is precious. You don't want to be, spending it all or allowing it to be driven by sort of market directives by some large company. We're not going to go too much into that side of things, but that creative time is really, really precious and beautiful and should be enjoyed by you and your friends and whoever you share it with in the most pure way possible, because it's an art form. It's art. It's not just a creative thing. It's not just, a little pastime you do on the corner of a kitchen table while you might be there with your kids or whatever, a partner, whatever's going on in your life. That's still a very important moment. Everyone needs some outlet in life, and for those of us that are into creative pursuits, that's a really important thing. And so keeping that bubble, separate from the rest of the world is kind of really important. It's something I come back to quite a lot. I talk about these things, but it is a really important part of life, is to have these sorts of little bubble worlds that you go to, because it gives you a chance to de-stress. And so allowing those sort of more corporate elements to invade that space. In this case, it would be decisions about the game and how that affects, the miniatures you have and all of those sorts of things. You want to sort of give yourself some separation. So another strategy you can do would be to, do some house rules with your mates. If you're saying, hey, I'm just looking we're getting a bit tired of this, can we do this instead? Usually, if your mates are your mates, they're going to say, yeah, sure, we'll just change this up and do this instead. So maybe if the season's not working for you, you could play one of the other seasons, or whatever it is. So I suppose the first thing is to be aware that that's happening, and then sort of figure out, okay, well, and then start to employ some of those strategies to keep that love of the hobby going through your life, because it is a really healthy and cathartic thing to have there, in the background. No matter how productive you are or whatever, it doesn't really matter. The fact that it's there and you get to go to it whenever you can, even if it's only once a month or once every 2 months or whatever it is, that's still great. And it should always be, as I said, as pure as possible, in the time that you do, whether it's on your own or, with a friend or in a group or whatever it is, or at a tournament, at a club. Keeping that special and keeping that there in your life is such a wonderful thing to do. So, they're just some little strategies. I'm not going to go too big into this, just an informal chat, just to round out the vlog and the Christmas special, and just talk about some things to, arm yourself with a bit of that creative, armament, just to get through the year, get through Christmas, get through into the new year, and still have that love coming through into the next year for what you do. Because, no matter what skill level you're at, any of those things, it's awesome, right? You can tell I like this hobby and the things around it. I still remember the first time I saw the little skeleton in the window that really drew me in. One day, or maybe I'll share that full story, but that stayed with me through my whole life, and has been the basis of me making my own brand, etc. Even working for Games Workshop. All of those things have spawned from one little diorama in a hobby store window, when I was very, very young. And that's a really amazing thing that can carry through your entire life. I'm sure the person that made that diorama didn't realize the effect they would have on another person, namely me, and many, many others, I'm sure, that would have seen that diorama in the window. And so, that it has a power there. And I've always loved that about the hobby, the way it interacts with people and everything else like that. But there is those negative sides, and so you've always got to watch that and keep yourself in check, so you can get the best out of it. So yeah, I'll leave it there for that one, and we'll talk a bit more happy thoughts about Christmas, and I'll give you my closing thoughts. And just like to say once again, thank you all so much for all your support and everything like that. It's been wonderful. I hope you're having a wonderful time at the end of this year for Christmas or whatever you celebrate. It's been an amazing ride so far, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you into the future. So we'll put my closing thoughts now, see if I painted these Custodes, and we'll see how I've gone, eh? And there we go, all done. Well, I can tell you right now in Australia, it's very hot, and painting in 30 to 40 degree heat is, pretty crazy. I don't know if you can see the sweat on my hands, but anyway, let's take a look and see how I've gone. It is doable, you can do it, but it is pretty crazy. Christmas time here in Australia is always, very hot. So yeah, but I got them done, which is great. Got the whole squad done, and I'm pretty happy. Like, doing metallic schemes is always a lot of fun, and it's definitely something that's fun for this time of year when you want to relax and just do something easy. Metallic schemes are definitely the way to go. I hope you've enjoyed the year and the videos that have come out, and I've certainly enjoyed doing them, and I really am looking forward to next year and sharing that content with you. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and I just want to say once again, thank you very much for supporting the channel and my videos and so on and all that sort of thing. It really means a lot to me, and I really do wish you a wonderful Christmas and a happy new year, and if you celebrate other holidays, then I wish you the best for those too, because it's great, developing this little community and all that sort of thing. It's a wonderful experience, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. And I'll leave a nice image for this one and the group together, and I'll do a group shot of all the Custodes that I've been doing on the channel and off channel, to put them all together so we can see what they look like, and obviously the paint list and so on, as I normally do. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, it really helps me out, and I guess I'll catch you on the next one.